love you. I'm sure.
Yeah, as the
Herbie
foil.
does. I don't.
Yeah, every time.
Oh man. So so I got thinking about this, and I was putting a lot of thought into it the other day. When I was at work, because that's what I do at work. I just think about what I'm going to do at night. Um,
Well, eventually, I think that you've now mastered the skill sets for where you are, and
that's
you
true.
just
Yeah.
work on autopilot, and it leaves your mind free to
So
wander.
most important thing, if you play as the Hansa, your leader thing is like a council of merchants known as Die Tag Fart, which is good. Uh, it's a pretty amazing name. I don't know what that
I wanted
means.
to leave that unremarked, but
Can you speak German to me and explain?
my grasp of the language is not sufficient to translate.
I mean, I can go over to
So,
Castile and tell you exactly about King Juan II. But man, actually, I was watching. Have you seen the movie Planet 51?
no, I have not.
Okay, well, Planet 51 is like this animated film. I don't know. Kaylin bought it like a flea market or something, or some similar place, because it looked fun and kiddie, and I didn't really want to watch it, but we watched it anyway because whatever. Uh, it was okay. It's better than I thought it was gonna be, but it's one of those things when it's like it's loading up and you're like, oh, it's a Pixar movie, and then it's not Pixar, it's someone else, but it looks so like that kind of like very Toy Story and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, okay, 3D animation, I get it. Everyone can do that. It's not the hardest thing in the world, but it didn't like it very much looked like one of those companies. And I was like, I've never heard of these people before. And they had a really weird name. And then like it was man, it was kind of like a weird movie. Had its moments, but like then the credits hit
Hmm.
and everyone involved, and I'm not being racist, everyone involved was Mexican. Like, horrendously, like, stereotypical Mexican names. It's one of those things you're like, oh, they could be Spanish. It's like, yeah,
You
no.
know, that died on my
Like,
lips the moment I thought about saying that, and I was like, no, no, no. He wouldn't be telling the story unless it
yeah, that's the thing, because, like, certain names, you're just like, no, that's, like, it's totally Mexican. You know what I mean? I don't know, as opposed to, like, Spanish names. Like, I mean, you had Juan for sure, but you had like a lot of stuff like everything. It was like Ernesto, Jesus, Juan, and it was just going like just everyone involved with these really really Spanish names, and I'm like, this is kind of weird. Like, I, it
Well,
was
there's
just such
actually,
a
I think there is actually a new CGI one that came out where it's something involving caricatures that
yeah.
have come to life, and they have to find, I think, something related to either the Book of Life, the Deus Ex
Oh, it's called the
Life.
Book of. Is it called the Book of Life?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I saw it on TV a couple times, but it never really caught my interest. I went, no, this looks really
I think I
weird,
saw the
really Spanishly
poster.
heavily, and then kind of like kept flipping through the channels. But
Oh yeah, yeah. That's totally. I think it's called the Book of Life. Something like that. It's
it looked like mariachis that is, or
yeah,
sorry, not
and now
mariachis.
that's one thing
The
I
one,
say.
two of them look like
I
mariachis, and then
I do want to clarify. I love Spanish culture. I super love like the whole like I love like the luchadors, and I very much love that. Yeah, like the mariachi, like the that sort of Los Dia de Muerto, like all that crazy stuff. Like it's very really cool. I love that sort of
from a cultural perspective, it is
yeah,
also very
that
interesting.
like very that voodoo
Also,
and all.
the culinary contributions of that
For
culture to the
sure. I
world
mean, you got your
cannot be
Taco
overlooked.
Bell. um,
That's not,
but
I'm sure that if someone hears that, they're just gonna go,
but
"Ah,
the odd
puto."
thing to me, and why I was like so puzzled by all these, very, heavily Spanish names, is the fact that all of the cast were very, very big name Hollywood actors doing voice acting. And that was the weird thing. Like, I was expecting, okay, it's a Hollywood company or something. And, after I'm like, okay, so if this is some sort of Spanish, smaller animation studio that no one's heard, well, it's not small. There's quite a few people, but you know what I mean. Like, how did they get Gary Oldman, The Rock, Justin Long, like etc. You know, you can argue Justin Long isn't quite as big as those guys, but
Well, it's
eh,
still a name that you recognize.
yeah, he's definitely been in a lot of things. So he played, of
I'm
course, a
more
very
surprised
similar
Gary Oldman's in
character.
this.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I was like Gary Oldman, really, and he's like the main antagonist, if you will.
Aw.
He does a very good job, though. Actually, he's probably one of the
I
better,
well go
better.
back
Yeah.
to Fifth Element.
Okay. Yes.
You
I'm
look
gonna
at
stop
that
you
and
right
you
there.
go,
Gonna stop you
"Hmm,
right there. Him playing Zorg, amazing. Him
amazing.
playing Dracula, it's really tough for me.
I haven't seen that though, so
Bram Stoker's Dracula is so good, dude. It's Keanu
I
Reeves, man.
can't chime in on that because I haven't
Oh,
seen it.
you gotta watch it. I finally forced Caitlin to watch it. Actually,
Where I'll
it's not
write
that
that
she
down
didn't.
actually.
Okay, it's not that she didn't want to watch it, but I finally, said, okay, let's watch it because I want you to play like World of Darkness vampire. So let's sort of get in the mindset and watch a bunch of vampire films. And Bram Stoker's Dracula is just so powerful. And then, of course, I found out I hadn't even watched the whole thing. Because it's a very long movie. And I thought I had, but turns out I hadn't. And I was quite surprised by the turn of events by the end. But very good. Very good movie. It's one of those things, like, I'm a big cinema buff. Unfortunately, it's not going to get me anywhere in life, but I am. And, like, it's one of those things you cannot go like 5 minutes without seeing just like a masterwork like scene. Like all of the shots, especially in the first like hour of the movie, are just really, really beautiful. Like they're really well done. Very, very amazing. Once stuff starts getting real at the end, the shots are still really good, but there's more of an action focus, so you're taking a bit away from it. But anyway,
Well, not
I
everything can be so picturesque. It
yeah.
can't. It has to be in motion and it has to be fluid at some point. You can't just keep. All right, perfect example. The old school movies of, or like editions of, say, like the Twilight Zone, where they had just people interacting. The camera never really moved in some cases. There might be some like zooming in or zooming out for effect,
Yeah.
but there wasn't a lot of like dolly movement. There wasn't a lot of panning. It was more of
Yeah.
this is the scene in which this context takes place.
Well, that's the
The
thing. Like,
actors enter stage left, right, center.
static images can work well, like a static shot, but it's like, you have to have it at a good angle. The problem is when they have just the, you know, like head on, just sort of height and they just leave it like that. Those are some of my worst, worst things to see in a movie is when you're staring at a shot and it's that sort of widescreen like view of like say a restaurant. Someone comes in, stage left, talks, leaves, and it lasts for about 4 minutes, maybe only 3. But the thing is, it's very bland, very dry. Nothing's happening, and so much so that you don't even get into what the characters are saying because it feels so alien and unnatural. Do you know what I mean? Granted, people are awkward in real life, but it just feels so like odd, though. Like, you know what I mean? When they do it like that. One thing I remember when I was like studying film in school, it's like, you should change the shot every 30 seconds. Not always true, but it's a good rule of thumb because, I mean, realistically, the average viewer will get bored. So, I don't know. It's just one of the things, like, it works in some movies, but the angle has to be good. If it's like a very high angle or like a low angle, like something that's making your brain go, oh, this isn't how I normally see the world. What's going on? Because it keeps the brain active, which therefore allows you to retain more of what's happening in the scene. But for sure, Bram Stoker's Dracula, absolutely stunning.
I've actually written that down. So.
Awesome. Just like I need to watch your movie, you always tell me to watch the Bruce Willis asteroid
Oh
movie,
no.
Armageddon.
That's more of an action
I
sci-fi
I know
enjoy.
it's
Just
not
sit
like
and
I know it's not a
watch.
cinematic masterpiece, but
It's really
like
not. So I'm not going to sell it as that.
but you've
But
always told
it's
me to
enjoyable.
watch it, so I need to get on that at some point.
Well, it's actually partly because of there's just so many good actors and actresses in
Yeah, for
it,
sure. I mean, I
and
love
it
Bruce Willis,
plays
so
very well. Same here. Ever since Die Hard as a kid, it's like Bruce Willis.
not gonna
Yes.
lie, I think my first Bruce Willis movie was the Fifth Element. I think it really was, which is kind of sad because it's kind of late. But I can't remember him before that. Obviously, I've watched a lot of his stuff now. But anyway, rambling aside, I was gonna say, okay,
Hardly
so
rambling.
I
Discussing cinema is never a waste of time.
oh no, it's not. But I mean, like we could start the game and be
Everyone's
talking
sitting there
then.
going, "Yeah, guys, we came for Europa. Stop talking."
Well, no, I'm sure it's not that bad. But anyway,
There's just someone sitting there, just drumming their fingers on the desk.
like drumming his fingers on the keyboard though, just to let us know. But anyway,
He's
okay,
in
so
chat, guys, guys,
uh, you
guys.
you are gonna play the Hansa, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so what I was thinking is, okay, hear me out. Like I love Castile. I could play Castile every day, all day, for the rest of my life, and I'd still be kind of happy. But I was thinking maybe doing Venice, and then we could both be merchant republics on the other side of the HRE,
Oh
you know,
boy,
vying for control
that could be
of.
problematic.
Well, it could be interesting. I'll say that much.
Well, for how much
Um,
you know of this game, I'd be outmaneuvered and bankrupt within, I think, a
well, no,
century.
obviously we'd work together, because I'm just trying for control of the Mediterranean, which is, you know, from
So I
Portugal to
see
the
you've finally
Ottomans.
possible sailing technology. Check out what we have. It's called coal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Deal with it, Hansa.
Hans is just sitting there, just like, hey,
Well,
hey,
shit,
everyone,
where's the
look,
fun now?
how about two sails on a boat? And just Venice, just like steam-powered galleys, choo choo. But no, I was thinking, you know, it's an option. Alternatively, I could go for, I mean, we could do like a Castile Portugal. That's very fun and easy and very. If you want to do a war
No,
thing,
not for the first jaunt into the like.
oh man, that's what I love
Like
about Castile. It's like you start playing the game, you're like, oh okay, I'm gonna just colonize the New World and just relax and have a good time, and then something snaps, and 200 years of holy war straight into Africa. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just a terrible person, and that's how it always ends up. But whatever. I can't help that.
popular. The populares are unhappy with our. We need a distraction to take away from our incredibly high taxes to pay for colonization of the New World. Um, uh, hey, you know the Cardinal's been talking about these guys called heretics.
Yeah.
We should do something about
Heretics.
that. Petition the Pope. Decade later, holy war.
So,
We're, we're cutting down on population and still raising taxes.
because
Yes.
here's the thing, right? So, say I could go closer to you, and maybe play like Bohemia, for example. Bohemia, they're a very strong nation. They're not like crazy, but they're very strong for sure. Like, where's what am I missing here? Where's my Brandenburg? For example, they're more your sides. They're a three province minor there, but they're very powerful because of their Prussian ideas. And the thing is, yes, I could play closer to you, and yes, that would probably help you quite a bit, and definitely help me as well. For example, I could play as the Teutons over here, the Teutonic Order. Sorry,
Mhm.
and by all means, the Teutonic Order, the only thing they have problems with is money, as they are a holy order of, you know, knights.
Well,
So,
I remember there was another knightly order that did really well in the banking system, but it didn't turn out too well for him.
yeah. Anyway, so, but for sure, like, I could go for that, you know what I mean? And that would work out for us. But here's the problem. If I do that, you're the Hansa. You have three provinces, and I know you have big dreams of becoming Germany one day. Or maybe just Prussia. That's okay.
The
So,
fact that the higher the ambition in this game, it seems to be that the work you put forward does eventually reward you if you are able to reach those prerequisite goals to
Yeah.
transform your
Now,
nation.
the cool thing is you can do Prussia first and then go into Germany. There's only a few, like most of the things you need for Prussia, you require for Germany, and then a few extras. Basically, how it works. Um, but anyway, so the problem is if I do that, you're going to need some of my territories. You know what I mean? And obviously, if I was doing one of those, I would want to vie for Germany as well. In which case, I would require a few of yours. So it's not, in my opinion, a great idea. So Venice, I think, would be cool because, sure, we're both vying for trade power, but in two different parts of the world. I'm going for the Mediterranean. You're going for the, France and England and the, what's it called? The northern, is it the Baltic? Yeah, you're going for the Baltic region. So it's not as detrimental to us. By the point where we would have trade power that would be stealing from each other, we'd be so far in the game and so powerful, it wouldn't matter. So it's an option. If you want me closer, I could always go for Burgundy, which I know Burgundy looks huge on the map, but they're actually in one of the worst positions at the start of the game ever.
There's a lot of wars that take place there throughout history. I'm not
Oh, yeah,
surprised.
there is. And the problem is Burgundy's king, King Philippe III, de Bourbon, I believe. Oh, Bourguignon, sorry. So he has 5 administrative skill, 5 diplomatic, and 5 military. He's like the best king ever.
But he's
Uh,
only going to live for like what, 5 years?
that's the thing. He dies normally within the first year and a half.
Ooh.
You never know. It might be the first like 2 months.
He's just sitting on the throne, decrepit and decayed.
Yeah.
You'll miss
And
me
that's
when
the thing,
I'm
it's like-
gone, bitches.
You look at Burgundy and it doesn't say like
It's like Palpatine sitting there.
there's no like giant like warning. Your dude's gonna die and you're gonna have about 10 years of not being able to do anything. So that's the problem. You really have to make a very aggressive early game push with Burgundy and declare about 1,000 wars before your king dies. And then during the peacetime of waiting for your heir to grow up, then you can worry about things. The other problem is, of course, your king dies. You don't have a ready heir. So you have 100 people that are like, I actually think I deserve the throne of Burgundy. Mostly from the Habsburgs in Austria. You have France. And of course, France being one of the strongest countries in the game. Right beside you. Very angry. It's
France is the whole thing.
it's a very scary thing. But it's doable. So any thoughts on those? Because I really think Venice could be cool. But I mean, hey, go in Burgundy, trying to form
I'm
the
thinking
Netherlands or something.
the two choices that really appeal is either the Venetians or the Teutonic Order. Because if you can help me figure out how to truly become an economic power with the Hansa,
Yeah.
I will happily fund your expeditions across the entire continent.
Unfortunately, I will say though, you're gonna need at least Neumark and I believe Danzig as well to form Germany. Which
Yeah,
are
and
the
as I,
Teutonic
as I recall, Danzig actually is very, very militaristic. They raise troops like nothing else.
Oh well, Danzig's part of the Teutonic Order. That's the
In
problem.
that case, no.
Yeah, that's like I said. It's a good idea playing as the Teutonic Order, but if you do want to form Germany, you're going to need my stuff, which of course leads to a bit of friction. You know. So
I love how the game's like, no, you have everything but these two last provinces. I can just form Germany without it, right? No.
no.
We're identifying culturally, philosophically, and just religiously as German. Yeah, but you still need this little tract of land here. But we don't want it.
Now
You still need it.
the nice thing about me playing Venice is, ideally, we both get rich off trade. But if you have any problems, I can hire mercenaries at the butt, just like you can. Do you know what I mean? And the other nice thing is we'll both be very strong naval powers.
True.
Yeah.
Which in the
so-
early world is a very important thing. The only thing I'm worried about is due to the location of the Hansa. Any sort of large naval action is sure to piss off the British Isles.
Actually, the British Isles mostly keep themselves because they're going to be dealing with France and then Denmark and stuff like that. Actually, you're going to have to deal with Denmark. So you might want to ally with England. Actually, might not be a terrible idea, but We'll see. So
Sorry,
anyway,
most games of this scale that I've played resolve themselves with being an ally with
Yeah.
another nation for centuries, and then you do like one wrong thing, and we've secretly built up a massive military. Time to die.
yeah, stuff like that
You're
happens.
going, well, this was a wasted 4 hours.
Oh, it's never a waste. You can always come back.
Yeah, but I don't save scum.
No, you don't have to. You can just. I mean, I could go for the
Like the number of times
the
I can't
super
even
pro
taste
strat
it.
Irish start.
You mean the troll start?
I could do Scotland.
I
That's
forget. The one time you
true.
played, the other one time you played those two, was it Ireland or Scotland, where you had literally crumbled the defenses of the English and then the Bluetooth, no, it was a Viking.
Yeah, no,
It-
that was Scotland when we played in Crusader
Yeah.
Kings. Yeah,
Ah,
because I own
okay.
most of
Bit
Ireland
of
as
a
well.
backstory to that. He undermined every single defense economically and militarily. He bled them dry, and as soon as the forces of his own militia were finally being overrun by the professional army of the English, Vikings happened to the southern and eastern coasts,
And then
just,
France declared war.
and then France just kind of
And
went.
we're not talking
Hey,
about the fact.
only we can kick their ass.
We're not talking
And
about the
then they
fact
declared
that we had like 50 years of internal war because everyone revolted against me because they hated me so much.
it. He was a tyrant, but it was kind of down the middle, really.
Well, that's, Scotland. What can you do? But did you get the invite, or do I have to resend it? Because I think.
No, it's not actually showing up. Like, I'm trying to connect, but
Because I think, unfortunately, if I start the game with a password, I think it bugs out. So we'll go ahead and try that.
actually, hold that thought. I'm going to start the game back up, but I can hear someone at the door.
Okay, okay. Alright, I will be right back, everyone. I'm going to rehost once we're actually able to get in the game. So I'll see you all in about 5 minutes, probably.